Hello, students, and welcome. Today, we are going to look at a very interesting and practical topic from your syllabus, some commercially important alcohols. Let's begin.
So, let me start by asking you a question. Have you ever wondered about this? How is it possible that two molecules, which look so similar on paper, can have such completely opposite effects on the human body? One is a deadly poison. It can even cause blindness, while the other is found in beverages. It's a puzzle, right? Well, today, we are going to solve this puzzle.
For today's discussion, we'll be focusing on three specific alcohols: methanol, ethanol, and glycerol. Now, the easiest way to understand them is to think of them as three members of the same family, but each one has a very different character and a very different destiny.
Now, this is the most important point, the main idea of today's class. The structure of these molecules decides everything. The number of carbon atoms, the number of hydroxyl groups, that is, the OH groups. This basic information determines all their properties, their uses in industry, and yes, even how toxic they are.
Okay, and here is the formal definition for your exams. It simply states that for these commercially important alcohols, their molecular structure, meaning the number of carbons and OH groups, is what determines their unique properties and their applications. It's as simple as that. So, to make this whole topic super simple to remember, let's use that picture I mentioned. Let's imagine these three alcohols are like three siblings in one family. This analogy will make it much easier to remember their differences.
First, we have methanol. With just one single carbon atom, it's the smallest and simplest one. Let's think of it as the dangerous younger sibling. It's volatile, unpredictable, and highly toxic. And as we'll see, its simple structure is the very reason it causes so much trouble.
Next up is ethanol. With two carbon atoms, it's a bit more balanced and much safer. You can think of it as the responsible adult in the family. It's very versatile and useful in so many different situations, from beverages to being used as a fuel.
And finally, we come to glycerol. Now this one has three carbons and, very importantly, three hydroxyl or OH groups. It's the most complex of the three. Let's imagine it's the wise elder of the family. It's stable, multi-talented, and has very specialized uses in things like cosmetics and medicines.
So now let's dive deeper into this idea. Why is their structure their destiny? We're going to see exactly how these tiny differences in molecules lead to such huge differences in the real world. It's actually amazing how just a few atoms can change the entire story.
Now, I want to highlight something that is a very common point of confusion for students. Many people think that methanol, ethanol, glycerol, they're all just alcohols and can be used interchangeably. Please remember, this is a very big mistake. They are fundamentally different from one another.
Just look at this. The difference of just one single carbon atom. Inside our body, methanol, with its one carbon, gets metabolized. It gets broken down into a dangerous poison called formaldehyde. But ethanol, with its two carbons, is broken down into compounds that our body can handle much more easily. It is literally a life or death difference.
Okay, so now that we have the main idea, let's get to know each of our three family members a little better. We'll look at the individual story of each one to really understand its unique character.
First, let's picture the story of methanol. Imagine this very small, simple molecule. But the moment it enters the human body, it transforms into a villain. Our body's enzymes break it down into formaldehyde, a very dangerous poison that directly attacks our nervous system.
So, to summarize methanol, it is the simplest alcohol with just one carbon atom. It is highly toxic. Why? Because our body metabolizes it into formaldehyde and formic acid, which cause severe damage to the optic nerve and the brain. Its main industrial use is in the synthesis of plastics.
Now let's look at the story of ethanol. With its balanced two-carbon structure, it's the hero of our story. It can be processed safely by our body, in moderation of course, and its structure also makes it a fantastic solvent, which means it is great at dissolving other substances, both water-based and oil-based ones.
So for ethanol, remember these points. It's the two-carbon alcohol found in beverages. It is safe in moderation because our body breaks it down into manageable acetaldehyde. It's an excellent solvent, and this property is why it is used so widely in drinks, as a fuel, and as a disinfectant.
And finally, the story of glycerol. Just picture a molecule with three carbon atoms, and on each carbon, there's a hydroxyl or -OH group. Now these three -OH groups, they act just like little magnets, attracting and holding onto water molecules. And this is exactly what makes glycerol a thick, sticky, and very helpful substance.
So to recap glycerol, it is a non-toxic alcohol with 3 negative OH groups, which makes it a polyhydric alcohol. This structure is what makes it viscous and hygroscopic. That's a technical term which simply means it attracts water. It is broken down safely by the body and is very common in cosmetics, medicines, and even in food products to keep them moist.
All right, students, let's put all this information together now. We'll summarize it in a way that will be very easy for you to revise just before your exams.
This table gives you a perfect summary. You can see the pattern so clearly here. Methanol, 1 carbon, toxic and volatile, used for plastics. Ethanol, 2 carbons, safe and versatile, used as a solvent. And glycerol, 3 carbons and 3 OH groups, making it viscous and water-attracting, used in cosmetics. See, the structure on the left directly leads to the property and the use on the right.
To make this topic stick in your mind permanently, here's a simple 3-step memory aid. 1. Remember the core idea. Structure is destiny. 2. Remember the mental picture, the 3 stories of the villain, the hero, and the sticky helper. And 3. Remember that key example, how 1 carbon change creates a poison from a drink.
So my final advice to you is this. Don't just try to memorize a long list of facts. Instead, remember the core idea, the mental picture of the 3 siblings, and that 1 key example of methanol and ethanol. If you can do just this, I promise you, this topic will feel so much lighter and easier during your exam preparation. All the best.